Hi everyone, welcome to part 2 of week 2 of Gaining Kitchen Confidence, the first program in our 4-week Fast Track series. My name is Dina D'Alessandro, registered dietitian nutritionist, founder and chief executive life changer at DishWithDina. If you missed part 1, please go back and view it and then join us here when you're done. In this video, we're going to quickly take a look at the MyPlate Daily Checklist just to give you a reference for the food group icons that are located on your kitchen inventory list to help you start identifying and recognizing foods by groups. This is to give you a better understanding of how to develop a well-rounded, varied, balanced meal plan, not by focusing solely on daily calories because all calories are not created equally. And we'll get into that a little bit more in week 3, but by seeing what kinds of food group patterns you actually follow versus what patterns the checklist recommends. In other words, this checklist divides up healthful foods in optimal proportions so that you get the most nutritious bang for your buck, in other words, over the course of a day. However, if you're on a dairy-free diet or are allergic to shellfish, for example, it'll make sense that these food groups won't necessarily reflect those restrictions, but overall you should have a good variety of foods, maybe not in every meal, but during the course of the day and definitely over the majority of an entire week. So the downloadable checklist is based on a 2,000 calorie diet, and that is on purpose since it reflects the same information that you see on the nutrition facts label. Next week, we're going to give you some calculations that will help you understand where you stand on the calorie spectrum and how that number compares to the quote unquote average information that's on this checklist and the food labels. So if you're excited and continuing with us along the Gaining Kitchen Confidence program and sticking with us for this next week and the weeks to come, please give us a like to this video or leave a comment below. So your homework between now and next week's video, we want you to do the following 4 things. First, and as always, fill out the goal agreement sheet. Only for the short-term goal under week 2. What is the SMART goal that you'll need to achieve this week that will bring you closer to that end result that you created for yourself last week under the long-term section? And what reward would you like to give yourself or someone else when you achieve it? You're going to inventory your kitchen again. Yes, I know, that's the whole point of this program. But after spending time last week inventorying your kitchen in full, this should take you much less time. You'll basically just be cross-checking anything that you removed and used from last week and what you might need to replace this time around. But this time you'll be taking into account what you learned earlier about label reading. So you might have to go back through everything once again and look at the label and make a decision for yourself. Obviously, if it's a whole food, right, like a produce item, it won't have a label, but packaged goods will. So now when you're reviewing your inventory, you'll decide if it's a quote-unquote acceptable item to keep around for yourself. Again, if there are any food items that are well past their prime expiration date, please toss them. If there's anything that you no longer want or that you deem you have too much of something and it's unrealistic for you to keep on hand, we encourage you to please donate those items to a food pantry or a family in need. If you don't want certain food items in your home anymore after you've learned this info, please consider donating to the food pantry in your area versus completely discarding it. Understandably, it might not be the healthiest food choice for you at this point, but other people might not have that luxury to decide that. So you can find the foodpantries.org website listed below, and you can check by zip code in your area to find out where one is close to you. And this time in doing your inventory, we want you to pay attention to the food groups icons. How much of your food is primarily in grains? Do you have a ton of fruit but no vegetables? This might help guide some of the discussion that we have for you for next week. The next thing is to go shopping. So for this week, we want you to take into account what you learned regarding reading the labels and apply it to your supermarket shopping trip. See if you can find yourself comparing products or brand names. See which items you put in your cart and which you leave on the shelf. Again, fill in the blanks with whatever's missing, or replace whatever staples you usually use or whatever else you normally go shopping for, since we're still not yet at the meal planning portion of our program, and we appreciate your patience with that. This time around, you do not have to ignore sale items because maybe now with knowing what items are more acceptable to you, you might want to keep extras on hand if they're being offered at a good price. But don't go too overboard unless you know for sure you're going to go through these items within the next few weeks or that they're items that won't expire for quite some time. And then again, consider please leaving comments and sharing your success stories or any of your challenges below this video and the other videos before and to come, or joining our private Facebook group, which is linked below. Write a post, you can follow the prompts on the walls there, and feel free to share your experiences. What did you find yourself shopping for more or less of? What aisles did you find yourself in most? How long did it take you this time around now that you came in as an educated consumer? Did you notice anything about the locations and the contents and how some particular items are strategically placed in certain aisles? Share your goals with us if you want to, and of course, always feel free to ask questions at any time. The Dish with Dina crew is on standby if you need any guidance or just have general food and nutrition questions. So before you wrapping this up, if you haven't done so already, as we said before, like the videos, subscribe to the channel, share this video series with anyone you think who might find it interesting, turn on the notification bell so you don't miss a thing, check the links below for any of the downloads, resources that we mentioned in this video. Feel free to schedule a quick session with me if you need more personal guidance. Hop on over to the DishWithDina.com website and sign up for our email list so that you can always be in the know. And keep an eye out for my live Q&As where I'll randomly pop up onto Facebook or my Instagram page or here on YouTube. Any of the social media platforms are listed and linked below where I can answer your burning questions as they come up. Thank you again so much for letting us help you embrace and develop new relationships with food, and we will see you again next week.